Hello all, it's my Burning Bright Visionaries. Hope you have been staying burning brightly. I know all of us, Corona, COVID-19, it's a doozy, but we've got to keep burning brightly, even in times of trial, even in times of stress. That's when we are needed the most, when we are called most to burn brightest. I wanted to do a book review today. Back to my librarian roots. It is on, I told y'all I would do this, and now's the time. On the Ching, right here. I think it's backwards in the thing because video, I'll put a picture of it or something in the comments. I'm still, working out this whole videography sort of thing. At any rate, wanted to give you this book review. This one's Lao Tzu was the one who wrote up the Tao Te Ching, and it's the book, it basically kind of translates to the book of the way and of righteousness. And I think it's interesting because I've studied quite a few religions. I've told you before in my previous videos that if somebody were to ask me, what religion you are, I would probably say Christian because I grew up in a Christian environment. I do follow the teachings of Jesus because he was a pretty rad dude. Walk in love, love your neighbor, that kind of stuff. It's nice to do. Basically, bottom line, don't be a jerk. But it's amazing when you look at other religions, they speak similar things that Jesus did, which was, bottom line, don't be a jerk. You've got to love your neighbor. You need to, kind of give up your desires in order to feel fully fulfilled. And I like that because it's kind of goes along with the word play that we've talked about, how words have more than one meaning, and you have to be careful with those words because when you are speaking to the universe, it is kind of cut and dry. And if you say, oh, well, I want this, then you are actually speaking in a lack mindset because you are saying, I don't have it. And it's just going to copy, what you were saying, and give you more of that want. But, so same thing with desires. It's like, if you do not desire anything, then obviously you have everything you need. And so the universe is going to give you that, everything you need. And that is kind of touched on in the Lao Tzu's Tao Te Ching. I wanted to read you the back of this because it is like an excerpt from one of it. He has 80 different kind of I don't know exactly what you would call them, verses, speaking in a biblical sense. It might be called something else. But this, it's got 80 in there. It's a very quick read. You can see this is a very thin book. And this is actually bigger than the other one. I got this off of Amazon. This is actually bigger than the other one because in this one, you can see, I'm going to cover up the words because it's like, but it's got that front. And it actually, in this one, it has the verse. It has like a lot of extra stuff in here. It has like a kind of backdrop. It's COVID-19, I tell you. It's got an introductory article, basically, at the beginning on the religion of China, because this was from China. And then it goes into the Tao Te Ching and the verses. And these verses are like, I think one was like this, like, half a page, maybe. But what they added in this one is they kind of had an explanation, or their take on what was said in it. So this is actually bigger than the actual Tao Te Ching itself. There is one on Amazon, and I didn't know that there was a difference at the time. I would have liked to order the one that was just that in itself. And it just has the verses themselves, and that one's even smaller, because seriously, this stuff is very small. If you look here, like, this is it in the symbols, that's how big it is, and then they put it in English. So it's really quick read. Here's one of the excerpts, and I think it's interesting because this whole thing it's Laozi's book of the way, and I think it's interesting because, like, that's kind of what Jesus preached about a lot, was the way. I am the way, the truth, and the light is something he said, and a lot of people put that as just him himself. I think those that cannot believe in themselves, he came to do that for us, because it's like, if you can't believe in yourself, then believe in me. And if you can't, do this yourself, then do it, then follow me, and I'll be the way for you. But that's what he used a lot, the way. And I'm going to be doing another book review on Conversations with God, and seeing this kind of crossover, different languages, different dialects, different culture, different, geographic, placement in different time periods, but they're saying the same thing is, God inspired. It's universal truth, and it's kind of amazing to see that. And so you kind of can understand, this is when, when people say there's nothing, if there's nothing, then how are we getting these same ideas across times, across, continents? Have that little thread of what if. Because since we are a species of, amnesia, you can't say one way or the other, and it is up to you. And the fact is even if you don't believe in nothing, you're still believing in something, because, God, the universe, all in one, he has to be nothing and something in order to be everything. So, even if you think you don't believe, you're still believing. You can't get away from him. And that's how he made it, because he's impartial. And a lot of people don't like that. They're like, oh, they're bad, though. They don't deserve it. It's not about deserving. That's what unconditional love is about. You don't have to deserve it. You just get it. And we're so conditioned to conditional love, From even our parents. Our parents like to think that it's unconditional, but what happens when you get in trouble with them, right? It feels as though their love is kind of taken away for a little bit. If they get annoyed, it's like, I need a break from you. It's kind of conditional. The universe isn't like that. It's impartial, and it's always going to be there, whether you're going to accept it or not. So that's kind of cool to know that. So anyway, let me read you this little excerpt the way that can be told is not the eternal way. Interesting. And then they kind of explain it, because you think about that like, what? So they give you an analogy. The word that can be spoken is not the eternal word. So you and I are going to be speaking. That's not eternal. It's, just between us right now. Even if I speak my truth to you and about this, it's still going to, come and go. But the eternal word is like the word that was with God. The word was God. It is speaking that word into existence. It is the universe. It is that one word. And it will always be. But it just can't be, nonchalantly spoken. It is more than that. Unnamed, it is the source of heaven and earth. And unnamed, it's more like, I am. I am can be a million different things. And so it has its name, and it also does not have a name. Named, it is the mother of all things. So when you say, I am, I am abundance, that's when you start manifesting. He who is ever without desires sees its spiritual essence. So that is what I was talking about earlier, about without desires, you have all the possibilities. He who is ever under desire sees only its limits. So that's when you're living in that lack mindset. These two, differing in name, are the same in origin. So also what I was speaking about before, even if it is or it isn't, it's still the same source. Because it all comes from that, one all in all. It all comes from the universe. They are the mystery of mysteries, and this is the door of spiritual life. So it's kind of understanding that is where you begin. Understanding that things are kind of beyond our understanding in this, in this play that we're doing. So this book, it is written by Lao Tzu, and it is written in order for you to kind of start studying the path of enlightenment, and that is the eternal way. The way that can be told is not the eternal way. So, the eternal way was rendered by the first translators of this text, and it was the eternal way. Tao is the logos. It says in here, and it's a really fascinating book. You can read it over and over again and still get something out of it. So if you are in the mindset of, self-renewal and self-enlightenment, if you're on that path of, being your greatest version, then this book is definitely for you. As is many, different kind of religious texts, but this one is very profound. And it kind of speaks across ages. You can read this also if you are a Christian and you are in the mindset of, you wanting to learn and you wanting, having that desire to see, the differences, the likenesses of it. I would recommend this book for you because it is amazing how the, they use different images because, it was different geographical setting than, where Jesus was, different time frame too. However, it is very similar as well, to especially like the Psalms too. If you ever read the Psalms in the Bible, it kind of speaks like that as well. If I read one for 33, verse 33, whatever you call these things, little paragraphs, little stanzas, maybe stanzas, because they're kind of written like a stanza. He who knows other men is prudent. He who knows himself is wise. He who rules other men is potent. He who rules himself is strong. He who suffices to himself is rich. He who acts with energy is possessed of a strong will. He who departs not from his own nature endures long. And he who dies and yet endures has everlasting life. So it kind of reads like the Psalms as well. And it's just fascinating. And it's fascinating to see where you are in the way. Like, where do you lie in this? Does any of it resonate with you? Is it all new material for you? You know, you can kind of see where you are on that path. At any rate, I do recommend this. It's a very quick read. It's another thing, if you like books that are kind of fast-paced, then this book would be for you. If you like self-enriching ones, renewal, that kind of stuff, this is a book for you. If you like non-fiction books, this would also be up your alley. If you prefer non-fiction books versus fiction books, this would be a book for you. Especially if you enjoy, reading different cultures, or religious texts. This book is for you. So I hope you enjoy this book review. Give it a try. It is on Amazon. I'll link it down below. I'll link both of them. That way you can choose if you want the explanations, or if you would prefer not having an explanation. You just, kind of come to your own conclusions. That's okay too. That's the great thing about books. At any rate, I will see y'all later, and keep burning brightly. Bye-bye.